Have you ever caught yourself saying, I should have done this, or I would have been successful if, or I could have achieved that? Today, we're diving into something that trips all of us up, the infamous shoulda, woulda, coulda. You know what I'm talking about? It's almost that those nagging regrets and those missed opportunities. So I'm going to share with you 3 powerful hacks to overcome this mindset and to transform your potential regrets into powerful actions that propel you forwards. You see, the shoulda, woulda, couldas, they can weigh us down and prevent us from living our best life. So let's break this down and leave the past where it belongs. Let's first of all focus on the shouldas. This is when we think, or when you might think, I should have done this, or I should have gone there. It's those thoughts that do weigh heavy. So they're filled with self-judgment and guilt. And the reality is the shouldas are very toxic. They weigh you into the past. They almost anchor you to the past. And the past is the piece that we can't change. The shoulda reflections are those often accompanied by a sense of obligation or a sense of duty or ethical reflections, considering what we should have done, whether it be morally or responsibly. It tends to carry a heavier weight due to that perception of neglect of duty or responsibility. So, for example, I should have defended that person, or I should have stood up for that injustice. It's reflecting on the missed opportunities to almost make a positive impact on somebody else or on society at large, if you like. Also, another example could be I should have prioritized more time with my family over work, understanding the significance of balancing our professional, business, corporate life with the personal life. You see, shoulda lessons often come with that deeper emotional reflection, urging us to act in alignment with our core values and responsibilities. So instead of focusing on the shouldas, we need to ask, what can I learn from this? So hack number 1 is to reframe regrets into lessons. So it's time to reframe anything that we regret or anything that weighs heavy into valuable life lessons. So what do I mean by reframing? I know that word is bandied about a lot, but it's in essence, it's changing how you perceive your past decisions, choices. So instead of seeing shouldas as failures, view them as feedback. You see, each regret that we have is almost a hint pointing to areas where we can choose to grow through. So, for example, instead of thinking, I should have taken that job, you can reframe that to be, that opportunity wasn't right for me at that time. And I learned X, Y, Z from that. So we're always looking for what can we learn. Now, one of the actionable steps that I would invite you to take is to practice daily gratitude journaling and focusing on lessons learned rather than missed opportunities. And if you want to get more specific with that, perhaps list your top 3 shouldas, and next to each one, then write down what you learned from that experience. You see, it really is time to transform those shouldas into teachable moments and embrace those lessons and use them as stepping stones for your future. Now let's look at the wouldas. I would have done this if only. This is often almost about blaming circumstances, things that you felt you didn't have control over. It's an easy way to relinquish responsibility. So wouldas involve contemplating scenarios where we think about what we would have done if something had been different. It revolves around that almost hypothetical situations and how changes in context or information could have altered our decisions. So, for example, one of the ones I often hear people talking about is, I would have invested in that stock if I had known it would skyrocket, or I would have taken better care of my health if I knew the consequences, almost that hindsight piece, or I would have taken that next course if I had more confidence in my own abilities, showing that the missed chances almost due to the wretched self-doubt. Though pondering the wouldas stirs curiosity and almost those theoretical scenarios, it's also a reminder to consider the possibilities and take informed risks in our present and future decisions. So the second hack is to embrace acceptance and responsibility. So why is this important? You see, accepting the past as it is without judgment allows us to release any emotional baggage associated with it. Now, this doesn't mean that we ignore our past mistakes or failures, but rather we acknowledge them without letting them define us. We reflect on what happened, we understand it, and we take full responsibility for it. We take responsibility for our own choices, our own decisions that we did or didn't make. So in essence, as a reminder, nothing is good or bad until we give it that definition. Nothing is good or bad until we believe it is, or until we say that it is. So this is where we want to embrace that acceptance and responsibility. So we want to own it. Accept that it's part of our journey. Accept that it's made us who we are today. You see, taking responsibility is one of the most empowering tools that we have in our remit, because it gives you the power to change your future decisions. There are always things that you can control. Maybe not everything, but definitely something. Even if the only piece that we can control is our reaction to something, we can control that. We can fly off the handle, or we can just stay calm and absorb in that moment. Even if that's the only thing we can control, we can control that. So what I would love to invite you to do is, first of all, grab a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, draw a circle. Draw a circle in the middle of that piece of paper, probably taking up about 2/3, half to 2/3 of the page. In that circle, you are going to write down everything that you can control within that circle. That is the circle of control. Okay, so we're going to write down everything, whether it's about what time I go to bed, what time I get up, whether I exercise, what am I choosing to eat today, what am I choosing to order from a takeout today, how am I choosing to behave in a meeting, for example, how am I choosing to approach a client, whatever it is, all those decisions and things that are in our control. Let's start to fill that circle. And then what I'm going to invite you to do is to jot down what's not in your control outside of that circle. Okay, this is what we call the circle of influence. We've got the circle of control, circle of influence. Now, we may be able to influence some of it, but it's not in our control. Now, this visual representation often helps to refocus our energy on what we can change rather than wasting it on the things that we can't. As a reminder, the best things in life for us are to put our energies on things that we can change, things that we can control. Okay, and then finally, let's tackle the couldas. This is about potential and missed opportunities. I could have been this, or I could have done that. These thoughts hinge on possibilities and sometimes fantasies. Now, the problem with the couldas is that it paralyzes you. It keeps you stuck. You're stuck thinking about what might have been instead of what can be. You see, looking back, there are countless moments where we're thinking about what we could have done, what we could have done differently, what we could have done instead. We often find ourselves pondering over the opportunities that we've missed, the choices that we didn't make, and the paths that perhaps we could have taken if only we recognized their potential at the time. I could have pursued that job opportunity overseas, considering how it might have broadened my horizons, both career and personal. I could have communicated better with my partner. I could have devoted more time to learning new skills. Perhaps there we're recognizing the lost chances to advance both personally and professionally. You see, these reflections often bring about a mix of regret and understanding, and urges us to learn from the past and make more proactive choices moving forward. So the third hack is to set clear goals and a vision and take action. You see, we want to shift the mindset from coulda to can. So let's talk about what you can do right now. Take small steps toward your goal, even if they seem insignificant. Progress is progress after all. So direct your energy into setting clear goals and taking proactive action. When you have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, those shouldas become I did, the wouldas become I will, and the couldas transform into I can. So begin to write down your goals and take one small step each day towards them. Remember, action actually helps to alleviate anxiety. The more you do, the less space there is for you to regret. So making this more specific, I encourage you to write down one goal, just one, that you want to achieve in the next 2 months. And then ask yourself and identify one step that you can take today in the direction of that goal. And then tomorrow you ask yourself again, what is one thing you can do? And then the next day you do the same, and so on and so forth. Now, in addition, visualization is also a very powerful tool. Every morning, take 5 minutes to close your eyes and visualize yourself achieving your goal. Feel the emotions, see the success, and let that positive energy drive you forward. Remember, your past does not define you, but your actions today can shape your future. Turn your shoulda, woulda, couldas into I did, I will, I can. You see, real power lies in the present moment and the choices you make right now. You have the power to create a life you love. So it's time to move past your shoulda, woulda, couldas and step into a future filled with purpose and action. So there you have it, the 3 hacks. Reframe regrets into lessons, number 1. Number 2, embrace acceptance and responsibility. And number 3, set clear goals and take action. So that's it for today. The next time those shoulda, woulda, coulda thoughts creep in, flip the script. You have the power to write your future. So make it an amazing one. Thank you for joining me. Stay strong, stay focused. And as always, keep moving forward. You've got this. And don't forget, if you found this video helpful, please do subscribe, hit the like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you think of a friend or a loved one that this video could help, feel free to share the link as well. See you next time. Hey, and if you stayed around until the end, here's an extra hack for you. Practice gratitude and forgiveness. Release yourself from the shackles of the shouldas, wouldas, couldas by being grateful for what you have today and forgiving yourself for past mistakes. What I invite you to do is to every night write down 3 things that you are truly grateful for. Shift your focus from what you lack to what you have. Additionally, forgive yourself and others for past things. Understand that every one of us makes mistakes. It's part of being human. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.